The WWE ThunderDome has been such a good concept by WWE that when you say ThunderDome, your voice turns all cool and crazy, much like it does when you see NXT TakeOver Vengeance. You see, there are just certain words in the English dictionary that are badass and we should embrace them and hug them as if we're in love. But as it is quite hard to get into the ThunderDome, you may not know about what the experience entails, and that's why I, here, Simon Miller at What Culture Wrestling, am going to break the walls down and then stop trying to be a massive wrestling nerd. But let's not worry about that, because being a geek is actually the coolest thing ever, and these are 7 things you only learn when you do lock yourself in to WWE's ThunderDome. Number 7, event coordinators are your friend. Given that the ThunderDome is a controlled experience, production crews on both Raw and SmackDown want to make it look as good as it possibly can, which is why when you are invited into the ThunderDome and you do sit down, there is an event coordinator to guide you through the process and try and make sure you have a rollicking good old time. That is why most of the LED boards look the same, because they want to make sure there's enough of the human being and enough of the background, because otherwise, if you were left to your own devices, you'd probably start doing a load of backflips and take away the focus from the in-ring action. And then you'd land on their head, and the ambulance would have to come through. I don't want to see that when I'm trying to watch some wrestling. And you can't get mad at this either, even though lots of people will get mad. When they weren't doing this, a bunch of dudes went on there with some really controversial paraphernalia and t-shirts and who knows what else, so WWE had to start policing it. One person always ruins it for us all. Number 6, a host directs the cheers and boos. Years ago, TNA got a bit of a telling off when it turned out that before shows they had come out and said, hey, we want you to cheer this guy, we want you to boo that guy, because they felt like if they didn't, it was harming the viewership for those people watching at home. And this is nothing new either. WCW was doing it in the early 90s, and in 2021, you can put WWE on that list. Because yes, a host is on hand to tell the fans who to cheer and who to boo, which is why you see a lot of thumbs down. If you do watch some of those screens, someone is going, hey, we don't like Bayley, let's take those thumbs and put them towards the floor. They don't talk like that. And look, we are pumping audio into the venue anyway, which we will talk about in a few minutes. You may as well try and match up the visual sight. So in short, this is more about playing a part than it is when you actually go to a real show in person. But look, if the alternative is if going back to those performance center shows, then man, I will do whatever the hell WWE wants. Have you gone back and tried to get through one of those now? It is almost impossible. It's like attending a funeral. Number 5, there are around about 1,000 screens. It doesn't look like this when you actually peruse the WWE ThunderDome, but there are actually officially around about 1,000 screens in there. So it must just be a trick of the eye. Even then though, the slots do go quite quickly, and actually that stands to reason. When Raw was doing proper shows that you could attend in person, there was usually about 8,000 to 15,000 people in there. So if now that number's down to 1,000, well, you've got to be quick on the mark as soon as that email pops up in your inbox. You better get that invite. Once you do get in there, it's pretty straightforward though. Again, we've already talked about how someone's going to guide you through, and then you cheer the right people and you boo the wrong people. So when Roman Reigns come out, you go, I hate you, Roman, you suck. And when Drew comes in, like, oh, Drew, you're the best. I want your Scottish children. It's nice and easy. Number 4, being animated will get you to the front. Look at this picture, and what do you notice? You may see that one fan has kind of got his fingers in the Daniel Bryan yes position, which is kind of weird because Daniel Bryan isn't even in this match. But another guy is watching Rey Mysterio and Baron Corbin, and he just looks like he's so enthralled, and he looks like he's being pretty animated. And there's a reason that these two guys have taken up these spots, and it's because somebody within WWE has seen them, and they've pushed them to the front, because it looks like they're having a good time, as opposed to going to Reddit and just moaning away. Simply put then, the more you do move your ass, the more likely you are to get in one of the rows where you will be seen on TV. And once again, this is nothing new. Bruce Pritchard has mentioned on his podcast, when they did have people going to shows, especially where the hard cam was, they wanted individuals doing the same, because they just think it looks better on TV. And it does. I mean, what's more entertaining to you? This or this? Simple. I mean, I don't want to see somebody fall asleep on one of the ThunderDome LED screens, which did happen recently on an episode of NXT. Then I just get worried about you like I'm your mum. Why aren't you getting to sleep? Is your diet okay? Don't put me through that trauma. Number 3, in the ad break, sometimes you see the action. So there is no consistency to this, but some ThunderDome users have reported that they get taken out of the live feed when a commercial or ad break comes along, and instead they're shown some kind of WWE community video, or likely someone just staring at them going, please subscribe to the WWE Network. It does mean when Raw cuts away to a break though, you're not actually being able to see the live action, although other users say, no, that's not true at all. I know when Raw has gone to commercial, and I get to see the match unfolding. So there's no rhyme or reason to it, and it does seem incredibly random, but I'd love that. You'd feel like you're part of some special magic club. It's probably just you and like 30, 40, 50 other people. That sounds pretty good to me. Not entirely sure what WWE's aim is by taking some people out of it and not others, but that's why we have the comment section. Go down there. If you have been in the ThunderDome, let us know your experiences, and then I'll put on my detective hat and I'll try and figure it out. I mean, I fail because I suck, but at least I'm putting the effort in. Number 2, all the sound is piped in. This one caused some discussion recently because a few wrestlers were interviewed and they kind of insinuated that they could hear live noise when making their way to the ring. But if that is what they meant, well, they were absolutely wrong. Any directing going on for the people on the screens is solely a visual aid, and any noise you do hear is being pumped through the speakers, which means yes, it's being controlled by WWE. And that's simply because there is no way you could trust every single person in there not to start swearing. Once again, it only takes one person and the whole castle falls down. What I like to think though is that the WWE production staff therefore has files named things like SuperbooRomanReigns.mp3 or We Love Drew McIntyre.wav. But if that is true, it also likely means they have a file called This Is Awesome. And I want to know about that one. Makes me feel sad. And again, too, if we didn't do this, all of a sudden we'd hear Johnny from Texas's mum going, Johnny, you gotta go to bed. And Johnny going, I don't want to go to bed, mum. And I don't need that in my life. And I suppose the only way we'll truly find out about this is if somebody breaks into the ThunderDome. But don't do that. It's clearly illegal. Number 1, NXT and 205 Live recycle old footage. Now this one surprised me, but it does appear to be the case, because you can see a load of adverts for come and get your seat for the Raw ThunderDome or come and get your seat for the SmackDown ThunderDome, but nobody ever mentions NXT and nobody ever mentions 205 Live. That's because they don't follow the same approach, and instead WWE just recycles footage from the Monday and Friday night shows. Just put them on there. So in short, yes, the faces you're seeing on these screens have been seen before, and while I understand it for 205 Live because that's a taped show, why wouldn't we do it for NXT? That's live on the USA Network, unless of course it's because they have a few real people in there, so they don't feel the need. So keep that in mind if you don't want your face copied and pasted anywhere, but it is in the terms and conditions, and I know that nobody reads the TNCs, we just scroll to the bottom and click agree. But I've told you now, so you really shouldn't be surprised. Now, don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know what your ThunderDome experience is. I really am quite intrigued by it and I want to know more. Then like the video, share the video, and please do subscribe. Head over to whatculture.com. That's right, we have a website. Come follow us on social media, both the team and What Culture. Just type in our name. And you can watch more videos right now. Look, they're there, next to my head. That's not part of my body. My name is Simon Miller from What Culture. Thank you very much for joining me as always. And if you are about to plug yourself into the ThunderDome, make sure you do it safely.